Hello guys, welcome to HRM-160, Information Technologies and Hospitality. I'm the instructor, Pete Doucette. I'm also the program director for the Hospitality Management program here at Cape Fear. For those of you who are new to the program, I'm also your faculty advisor. So welcome to all of you. For those of you who I've had in classes before, who I know, welcome back. For those of you who I've never met face-to-face, welcome back. And for those of you who I've never met at all, this is the first time we've interacted, welcome. Welcome to Cape Fear and welcome to the hospitality program. We have a lot of fun in this program, and I hope that you do well here. Okay, so information systems and hospitalities, what does it mean? All right, well, does it just mean, now, information technologies and hospitality? Actually, that's actually what it is. Information technologies and hospitality. What's the abbreviation for information technologies? IT, right? Well, that means that you're the guys they call and you just tell people to reboot and hang up on them, right? No, information technologies, this term IT has become synonymous with the technicians that help the information, the software and everything, help your things run smoothly. Those are information technology technicians. Information technologies is the actual technologies themselves. Somebody's got to use those technologies other than the IT guys, right? Everybody uses technology. We all use technology. If you're in this industry, you're going to use technology. If you're going to be in this industry, you're going to use technology. All right. The companies, there are out there. There's old hotels and motels and restaurants and travel agencies that don't use. Well, I can't see a travel agency not using technology, but there's some of those companies that just don't use technology. And you know what? They don't do very well. All right. They might be okay. They might have a market of people, or have a certain demographic that they serve that are fine without technology, but eventually they're going to die. All right. So technology is here to stay, and when it's used properly, it makes our lives better. Now, sometimes it seems like it makes our life worse, and we're going to address the decisions being made when it comes to choosing technologies, so you can choose those that give us our best shot at doing what we want them to do without giving us a hard time. All right. So the program, or the course, is going to center around this book right here. I think, can you see? Can I see? All right. Now this book is from the American Hotel and Lodgings Educational Institute. All right. Now the same parent organization that has Serve Safe and Manage First and the National Restaurant Association is involved with this. All right. Now, for those of you who've had to do the Manage First before, this is a lot better. Okay. Not that the Manage First is terrible. It's just a little basic. This is a very good resource. All right. Now, it is a few years old. Now, it's very difficult to find, as an instructor, to find a book in this topic that is current. And we'll talk about current technologies and how it's important to keep current on technologies, because you don't stay current very long. All right. But so this we're going to go through this book pretty much chapter by chapter. There will be some pretty obvious obsolescence here and there, and when we get to those points, I'll try to supplement it with something. Now, there's a very blatant omission in this book, and that is AI. It's not addressed at all. AI is here to stay, and is more than just something that drives your instructors crazy. It's used in many different ways, and and they're figuring out more ways to use it every day, especially especially in our industry, including our industry. There's other industries that use more, but it's everywhere. All right. So we'll talk about that as well. So let's briefly talk about technology, what you can expect here. We're going to go chapter by chapter. Like I said, we're going to briefly talk about technology. What is it? And some of the commonality of the different types of technology. And then we're going to get specific to the different segments and the different applications within the hospitality industry. Now, One thing about the hospitality program is some students will come in with a food service background and think that hospitality, that all we should be learning is restaurants, and some people come in with a hotel background and think we should only be learning hotels. And either one of those two thinks it's going to be one or the other, and they were okay with one. But there's a lot of segments in the industry. You have things like the transportation industry, the travel and tourism, all that's casinos, cruises, all that stuff, cruise ships. There's a lot going on here. And you think about the things I just said: hotels, restaurants, casinos, cruise ships, travel, airline travel, casinos. All of those things have their own unique technologies that they need to use that address, other than the common stuff, but they address the specifics of that industry, right? So we're going to talk a lot about that. Hotels, we have our PMS systems, property management systems, and then in restaurants we have our POS systems, point of sale systems, and both of those systems have many different modules that all integrate together. And it's very, very important that you have an understanding of all this stuff, all right, and what it's capable of doing. I can tell you right now that the majority of small restaurants and maybe possibly even small hotels will use only a fraction of the capabilities of their POS and the PMS respectively. All right. And that's a shame because there's a lot of stuff going on there. And there's a lot of people that will do half figuring out in their own brain and stubby pencil and half technology, and it's making it so much harder on them. All right. Give an example for a hotel. You have the PMS system. The PMS system has a lot of stuff and it has reservations and all that stuff. But let's just think about it. 40, 50, 60 years ago, reservations of hotels, you called the hotel, you made a reservation at the hotel with the hotel front desk, and that was it. One person taking in reservations, one person or one group of people taking in those reservations, and one group of people annotating all that and keeping track of it. Now, we have distribution channels that are online. What do I mean by that? Online travel agents, Expedia and the like, all those things are selling our rooms for us, right? Taking from inventory. If they're selling something, that means that thing is no longer in inventory. That room is no longer in inventory. But if our technology does not interact, we don't know that until there's some kind of reconciliation, right? It needs to be instantaneous. So choosing the right software and the right PMS system is very important. Okay, and that was just an example. And other than those software kind of things, what other technologies? I mean, now the course is information technologies, but we're going to talk about some other technologies too, because technology is everywhere. It doesn't necessarily have to be information. Our key systems at the hotels. I mean, that's not just a plastic key. That's a piece of technology, and you all know this. But there's smart rooms. People walk into the rooms and they have an Alexa type controls to everything in the room, to the TV, to the lighting, to the alarm clocks. I mean, 40 years ago when I was first going to hotels and business, we had to call the front desk for a wake up call. All that stuff is done through technology now, right? And then in the restaurant, there's multiple technologies there, and casinos and river cruises, cruise ships, and in the airline industry. Holy cow! You got some very specific stuff there. So technology is everywhere. All right, it is everywhere. So the class, what can you expect? We're going to go through this book, pretty much chapter by chapter, every week. Now, this is a 3 credit hour week or course. So what does that mean? That means that you would have a face-to-face class about 3 hours worth of face-to-face time. So, and then you would have in a face-to-face class, you have what, an hour and a half, 2 hours of homework every week. So you can count on the same amount of work in this class, about 5 to 6 hours of work each week. And don't try to stuff 5 hours of work into the 30 minutes before the due date every week, okay? And that's a point. I might be a little different from some other instructors. I do an 8-day week. Huh? There's an overlap, right? I go from midnight to Sunday to midnight to Sunday. So the work week, you get your schedule, or you get or everything's open. Sometimes it's open earlier, but everything is open at midnight or at 12:01 Sunday, and it goes to 11:59 the following Sunday. And then, but at 11:59 that following Sunday, you start the next week at 24 hours or 23 hours, 59 minutes before that, right? So you have an overlap of a day, okay? So you can count on a discussion, you can count on a quiz, you can count on 2 tests or exams, some homework, and then a project. And the project's not huge, but it is basically, I'm giving you a scenario, and you have to develop the technology plan for that scenario. That's it, all right? Now, let's talk about discussions. I'm a little different with the discussions, and those of you who've had me, had been in my classes before, know I'm a stickler for discussions, okay? So in our discussions, you're going to have an initial response and then 2 replies. 2 replies. Initial response by Wednesday. They're due at 11:59 on Sunday. As far as that's the window of the discussion, Sunday to Sunday. But I want that first response by Wednesday. Why? So give people time to respond. All right. I was holding people accountable. I had a small class this summer with 3 people online, and 2 people weren't doing the response. They weren't doing the response. We weren't replying to, or they weren't doing their initial post until 11:30 at night on Saturday. And the one person who was studious, trying to do everything right, she didn't have 2 people to reply to, and she went to bed before midnight. And it was hard for me to reconcile all that. I mean, it wasn't that hard. I'm a reasonable person. I like to hope. I like to think so. All right, but the bottom line is, that's why we do it. All right, and I want meaningful conversation. All right, my job is to make sure that my discussion prompts aren't just a quick question that you give an answer to and then that's it. Or like classes I've been in where it might as well just be an assignment. It's you're writing a paper and it's not really a discussion. I'm going to try to keep the discussions relatively brief, but very conversational and very maybe opinion, but a point of view. That's a better way to put it. Give me your point of view and support. What I mean support, don't just say, well, this is stupid, all right? Or even say it politely, well, this isn't wrong, this isn't correct, all right, or whatever. Why isn't it correct? Why is it stupid, right? So support, right? If I do have, you just unsupported points of view or unsupported arguments, I just think they're opinions, all right? There's nothing, right? There's no substance there. So support. Give me a reason why you think the way you think, all right? And that way, hopefully we'll have some meaningful conversations. And if the discussions, you're finding my discussion prompts aren't conducive for that, then let me know, all right? Now that gets me to the next point. I'm moving beyond this. If you have any questions on this video or anything ever at all, reach out. Please feel free to reach out. I try my best to respond very quickly. All right. Sometimes it's within minutes. Other times it might be within an hour or 2. Very seldom is it longer than that unless it's off hours. Right. And even off hours, even weekends, I do check. Now, those of you who've had classes with me in the past know that I have said, use the daggone email, don't use the email through Canvas. I said that because with Blackboard it was a problem, and I think the first semester with Canvas, there was a lag time, and I want to be able to respond quickly. There is no lag time in Canvas. It's pretty instantaneous. So go ahead and use the email feature through Canvas, because that gives a much better that provides a much better check and balance of making sure that I'm responding to you in a timely manner, which I really want to keep myself in checking that. All right. So use that. And then right now, when you click out of this riveting video, I want you to do the EV right away. Now, in the past, I've been just like anybody else. If the EVs, yeah, it's due at this date, and if it's a day late, then I just wash it under and still submit it. I can't do that anymore. All right, I found out I never could, but you will be disenrolled from a class if you're past the census date, and I will post that because I want to make sure that it hasn't changed, because sometimes it changes leading up to the semester. So I'll post that, but do that right now. Do your EV, get it knocked down so we don't have to worry about it, and let's have a great semester. There's a lot of good information here. I'm looking forward to some good conversations, and I hope that you have a really good semester. All right.